Today we're doing another installment of interesting newspaper articles. So come see what we've got on this episode of Antique Bottle Stories. Like last time, I'm going to go in chronological order again. So we're going to start in 1884. This has got to be one of the most descriptive ads for piles I've ever seen so far. It says, "Sure cure for the blind, bleeding, and itching piles." Piles are hemorrhoids, by the way. One box has cured the worst cases of 20 years standing. No one needs suffer after 5 minutes after using Williams Indian Pile Ointment. Further down it says, it's prepared only for piles and itching of the private parts, nothing else. Okay then. 1888. Yesterday, Babe Maparty was found guilty of larceny, which is stealing. And today he was sentenced to be shot to death next Tuesday. He had been convicted of larceny 3 times. The law gives 50 lashes over the bare back for the first theft, 100 lashes for the second, and death for the third. The chief of the Creeks had refused a pardon. Dang man, that's harsh. 1892. John Willis, a colored man, is locked up at the City Hall, charged with running a game at 912 South 3rd Street. He will have a hearing at 4 o'clock today. Now, does anyone have any idea what running a game means? 1892. Manhood restored. It says nerve seeds is the wonderful remedy to cure all nervous diseases, such as weak memory, loss of brain power, headaches, wakefulness, lost manhood, nightly emissions, quickness, evil dreams, lack of confidence, nervousness, lassitude, caused by overexertion, excessive use of tobacco, opium, or stimulants, which soon leads to infirmity, consumption, and insanity. That is the longest run-on sentence ever. And look at the very convincing before and after photos. Still in 1892. Look at this really interesting calendar. The whole year is in this little confined graphic. I find it really fascinating. See, the months are along the left side, and the days are along the top, and the days of the week are written in the middle, and then on the right side it tells you how many days are in that month. So, April 4th, 11th, 18th, and 25th are on Mondays this year. I mean, this is pretty cool. Still in 1892, I noticed in today's post that burglars were attempting to rob my store, but were scared off by the police. I wish to say it was not so. The police were perfectly safe, and so were the burglars. After cutting a little window in the back door of my store, they changed their mind. But they may want to come again to complete the job when I will be here with their pay. I like that guy. 1900. Both legs cut off. Yard engine terribly crushes a wandering photographer. A serious accident that will probably prove to be fatal befell George Taylor, a photographer from Maryland, last night about 9:45. Taylor wandered out along the Frederick Division tracks, being under the influence of liquor, and laid down on the tracks. The northern central yard engine ran over the unfortunate man, cutting off both his legs above the knees. Taylor was picked up and put on the engine and taken to the hospital. I wonder if they grabbed his legs too. Probably not. It says he was 40 years old, short and heavyset. His chances for survival are slight. 1906. It says, spanking does not cure children of bedwetting. If it did, there would be few children that would do it. There is a continual cause for this, and Mrs. Summers will send her home treatment at no cost, just write to her. It says, don't blame the child, chances are they can't help it. 1907. I thought this was interesting for a few reasons. The first sentence says, we are showing 1907 patterns in go-karts. And I thought it was interesting, instead of them saying 1907, they said 1907. And they call strollers go-karts. And look at that go-kart design. 1908, California. Apparently some carmen have demanded a working day of 8 hours, which will be getting approved, with a flat wage of $3 a day. I'm guessing it's around this time that starts setting the precedence for the 8-hour workday. 1910. I'm assuming this piece of furniture is called a buffet, as opposed to a buffet. Well, it's $22.50. which is pretty expensive if you are, say, making $3 a day. 1910. Apparently we're looking to do away with the noisy fabric for skirts. It says, in these silent petticoat days, everything savoring of swish or rustle is discarded. Skirts must be soft, clinging, and noiseless. What a change from a half a dozen years ago when every effort was made to secure the noisiest, rustling silk petticoats so that he who listened might indeed hear. Still in 1910, trackmen on railroad walk out, demanding more wages. They are on strike demanding an increase in wages from $1.45 to $1.65 per day. Still in 1910, the Newman's Williams store is out with its first sale of lingerie dresses to meet the demands of the hot sun. Okay, cultural differences here because lingerie was obviously not the same as what it is now. 1911, political cartoon. Miss Politics has been reinstated and will learn the children how to figure. I think we could relate to this one today too. 1912, another cartoon. It says, this is how Jack and I decided to marry. One evening, Jack stole a kiss, and the other one interrupts. And you had him sentenced to hard labor for life because of such a theft. Here's another funny one. I think I'll go to the ball game today. All right, is there a telephone at the grounds? Yeah, there's one. Why? Well, if the home team loses, I want you to telephone me so that I can take the children and go over to Mother's until you get your temper back. This paper was just loaded with funnies. This one says, I married a suffragette, says Mr. Rippingate, and for 5 years have found unspeakable happiness. I'm glad to hear it, says the suffragette leader. Yeah, he says, my wife's been in jail for the last 4 years and 3 months. Ba-dum-tch. Still in 1912, a train had stopped on the tracks, it says, because of a hot box on one of the coaches, which I don't know what that means. It was a foggy morning, and here comes train number 2, traveling 60 miles an hour, and it just crashes into the back of the passenger train, sitting still. At the time that this was written, so far 17 had died. 1912. This photograph shows the crew of a French submarine having lunch on the narrow strip of metal that serves as the deck. The cook and his stove can be seen near the stern. When the vessel is submerged, any cooking required is done on a small electric heater in the interior. 1915. Your child is constipated. Look at the tongue. If your little one is out of sorts, half sick, isn't resting, look, mother, see if the tongue is coated. This is a sure sign that the stomach, liver, and bowels are clogged with waste. And it goes on to advertise for a medicine. 1915. Women. It's easy to dry clean with gasoline. Save $5. Nothing shrinks, fades, or wrinkles. It says go get 2 ounces of Solvite at any drugstore and put it in 2 gallons of gasoline, where it instantly dissolves, and then put the goods in to be cleaned. Rub it a little, and they come out looking as bright and fresh as new. It says it's so easy you can't make a mistake. I just wonder why we're not still doing it this way. Here's 1928 used car sale. Look at some of these prices. Well, one thing I learned from these stories is that humans are the same, no matter what era we're in. There are good ones and there's bad ones. This 3-year-old baby was brought to the hospital with a broken arm and bruised face, the result of a beating her mother gave her. Many families in the community have petitioned to adopt her while the mother faces prosecution. I just hope she had a better life after this. Here's a 1949 firefighter scene. I just really like the details. I like the look of the fire truck. I like the guys on the ladder. Just a lot going on in this picture. And that's going to be it for this newspaper episode. I hope you enjoy the stories as much as I do. And I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.